You worked with Jimmy Snook a lot. I mentioned Jimmy Snook, and he
Yes.
just passed away a couple months ago.
In fact, I was just talking to a Samoan guy. I was at the golf course 2 days ago, and was telling me about another Samoan that passed away that I knew that lived in Utah. That was his cousin, and then I told him about Rosie, Big Matt. I didn't know Matt played at Pensacola High School with Emmett Smith, and Emmett Smith tweeted something, I guess, yesterday or today, or one day, last couple of days, about Big Matt, Big Rosie, how he's greatly missed a teammate from Pensacola High School. Because when I was in Pensacola, Alf and Seco were down there and living there. That's where I met the Tonga Kid. I didn't know Big Matt back then because he was in school. Tonga Kid he never went to school. For some reason, that boy never went to school. You know you didn't. But Big Matt did, I guess, and Emmett Smith was a big star player at Pensacola when I was working in that territory. Every time I see him, and I talk about living at a place called Car City out there, and he knew right where it was because it's down the street from Pensacola High School. It's called Car City, which is where we all lived. But him and Matt were together, and Big Matt, heart attack got him, 47 years old, I guess, the other day. Just terrible, terrible. But Jimmy, when Jimmy was diagnosed with the stomach cancer, that's beyond repair. Liver and stomach, and anytime it gets on your insides, it's pretty much a death wish. And I wish I could have seen Jimmy about the time that he was diagnosed, because I don't like to see people later on as they're deteriorating. I don't like to see that. In the ring, Jimmy Snuka was one of the, other than being in the ring with Macho Man, and like I said, give Jake his kudos. I could go in with Jimmy Snuka, and not in. I said it. I don't even tell the guy the other day. I wouldn't even have to talk to him. I don't have to see him. Just tell us, you guys, you're on with Snuka, you're on third, and he's not here yet. And I go to the ring. It's like riding a bicycle. It's just it's art that happens. I don't need to know anything, because I know what the end result's going to be, and I know how we're going to do it, and we put it together as we go, just out there, and it was lovely. It was beautiful. I posted a match of, somebody posted it on this thing called WWF Old School. It's on Facebook. It was a match of me and Jimmy at Madison Square Garden, and it was one of my first. Jimmy and I had been together for about 2 or 3 months, or probably at that time. They put us in the garden, and we were mid-card then. What my job was, I had lost to Warrior, and I'd finished going around with the Warrior, and then I went to Vince and asked, when he brought Jimmy in, I said, I'd like to go around with Jimmy if you want. And I said, I'll do whatever you need to make him look good. And I'd never worked with him, didn't know him. And he said, we can make that happen. And then I got put with Jimmy. And we did those sea towns. We went to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and we went to Lowell, Mass, and we did the sea towns. And then we were put in the garden together. I think they wanted to see how the people at the garden would respond to Jimmy again, coming back. And it was a filler match, went about 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes. It was for Madison Square Garden, it was one of the filler long matches. And it was a good, solid match, back and forth, told a story. And we put together a great finish with Jimmy Hart, where Jimmy and I collided and turned around. Jimmy slams me, he goes to the top, and the place went nuts. So then I was back in the garden with Jimmy a couple times, and what I did, my job there was I prepared him for Mr. Perfect. He went then with Mr. Perfect, and now that he had beaten the Honky Tonk Man everywhere, people thought Jimmy had a chance now to get the Intercontinental belt, because I think Mr. Perfect had gotten the belt by then, and Jimmy ended up losing every night to Mr. Perfect and leaving the territory. But that was the plan they had for Jimmy: bring him back, get him over a little bit, and then use him up, and sayonara. Jimmy knew that, and I did too. because I was out the door myself at that point in time. And I just saw Earl Hebner, the referee that he wears a T-shirt now. Damn right I did it or something about the Bret Hart thing. That's funny as hell. But I saw him. It was the first time I'd seen him in 20 years the other day at the WrestleMania thing, WrestleCon, not WrestleMania, because I don't get invited to the WrestleManias. But to WrestleCon, and we were talking about, he remembers a night in Richmond, Virginia, his hometown. He's refereeing. It's myself and Jimmy Snuka. And the match was the popcorn match, which they had a song, which was the filler. It was right after intermission. Everybody's going to the bathroom and going to get popcorn, so nobody's watching your match. So it was called a popcorn match. And we knew our job. It's 20 minutes, go out, bore the shit out of the people, and bring them back in their seats and get them ready for the feature matches. So Jimmy and I are out there, and old Jack Lanza had told me before we went out, he said, "Get him off his ass out there tonight." Okay. I went straight to Jimmy. I said, "Fucking Lanza." He says, "Get you off your ass out there." He said, "Don't worry, brother. Don't worry."
What does he mean by getting off?
He wanted me and Jimmy to go out and just do a video game fucking match, I guess. Oh. It's a popcorn match, you fucking asshole, Lanza. Fuck. Give me a break. Everyone knows what the popcorn match is. What are you going to do out there? Tear the building down? Nobody's seeing it. They're at the pisser. They're getting the popcorn and the Cokes and the beer. It's intermission. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, if you, listen, you're the road agent. You've been around Jimmy Snuka a lot longer than me. You and him are about the same age. You go tell Jimmy that. Don't tell me. And you know what? Jimmy and I were friends and close. And Eric's sitting over there. He can tell you that he's been with Jimmy and I on some of these independent shows. And Jimmy and I, we've partied hard. We had fun. And we had a professional and a personal respect for each other that if one of the guys had went to Jimmy and told him that about me, Jimmy would have came to me and told me. But anyway, I'm sorry, I hit the microphone. But anyway, it got to be that at that point, it was like, okay, we'll fix this guy. And we went out and we started slow and methodical. And slow and methodical. And as the people were coming back in, we're still going slow and methodical. And the fuckers started to get mad. They wanted to see something. As time went on, and I'm getting the heat on Jimmy, and I'm pulling him over, and I'm giving him this, and behind the referee's back, and all. The fans hit the ring, started jumping on us. And Earl Hebner was hitting them and beating them up. We started a riot in the popcorn match. Okay, Lanza, we got them off their ass all right. We got the fans off their ass is what we did.
Was this at the Garden?
No, it was in Richmond. It was Richmond Coliseum. And Earl was talking about it. He said, "Remember that night Lanza gave you and Jimmy Snuka hell, and you went out there and went about 40 minutes, and damn fucking people were jumping in the ring, going to kill all of us." I said, "Yeah." We just... So Jimmy and I I remember one time I'm wrestling Colonel De Beers many years ago on an independent show. And I love De Beers. He lives out in Phoenix area where I am now. We exchange emails all the time. And I said, "Colonel, what do you want to do out there?" He says, "Well, we'll start slow. And every time they yell boring, we'll just take it down another notch. We'll bore the shit out of them until they get mad. And I'll be damned, it works. If you bore someone long enough, they're going to get fucking mad. They're not going to get up and leave. You already got their money. Who cares?" I always wonder about this on independent shows. "Oh, man, you guys in the first match go out there and tear the house down." Why? The people are there. You got their money. They're not going to leave. You have 7 or 8 matches on the show. Let's don't tear the house down right now. Let's try to tell a story. Let's make this, as Dusty would say, I'm making movies, baby. I'm making movies. Dusty, what are you doing down at that NXT? I'm making movies. What kind of movies are you making? I'm making movies, baby. But anyway, I knew what he meant. Let's make it a movie then. Let's don't kill the Terminator in the first match. If you kill the Terminator as soon as the movie starts, what are you going to follow it with? So anyway, I do not get that. I understand on a TV match on Raw when the show starts, you got to come out there. Sometimes they call it a hot opening. They open hot. Sometimes they close the show hot. It's things that you need to do. But anyway, back to what you were saying. Chief Day Strongbow. I remember Macho Man. He said, because Macho and I were together, and Strongbow didn't like either one of us. And I don't know why. I don't know why. There's matches of me and Strongbow together in Puerto Rico when he was down there, and he was coming off his knee surgery, and they sent him down there to rehab and get back in shape. And Carlos Colon stuck me with Strongbow. I didn't mind. Strongbow was easy to work with. He's not going to hurt you. And the first thing he says, I don't give bumps, I don't take bumps. I said, okay, fine, we'll be okay. I get to WWE, and he wants me to do all this acrobatic shit. And I said, what about the deal in Puerto Rico? He acted like he never even knew me from there. So, but Randy came to me one time, and he says, ooh, I just wonder how many careers that guy's ruined. Which is true. How many careers had Strongbow maybe ruined by just his skullduggery, his little bullshit that he would do to guys?
What would be an example of something he would do?
Seeing my wife and a young boy that I hadn't seen in 70, 80 days, that I might fly, when I was living in Memphis, fly them up to, or have them drive up to Nashville, 100, 200 miles to Nashville to see me and visit with me, because we might have Chattanooga the next night and then somewhere else, and then they could drive home, and I could be with them for 2 days on the road. And every night, Randy and I might be working the fourth match on the card, because it was a hot match and we needed to get out of the building because the fans were pretty bad back then. And he would, if he saw my wife and little boy, he'd go in, change us from fourth to seventh.
Oh, so you're there longer.
Yeah. We'd get out of the building, midnight, traffic, no food, nothing at the hotel. Yeah. No time to visit with each other. Just stuff like that. I'd hide them in the arena so Strongbow couldn't see them. Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty bad. I don't know why it happened. I don't know why Vince let it happen. If I ever sat down with Vince sometimes in our old age, and I would ask questions like that. Why would you have your supervisors create controversy or difficulty for your talent? I didn't understand that. Why would you want the skullduggery? Why would you need that? What you want is to get the best out of your talent and them to work hard for you and do all those things to make the business great. Not have someone that begrudged the talent or begrudged who was getting a push and who wasn't for their own benefit. Now, if Randy and I were not doing great business, Strongbow's paycheck depended on the size of the gate also, same as ours did. So why would you want to create a problem between two guys and let it fester? I saw Danny Spivey the other day, the great Danny Spivey. I love Danny to death. First class stand-up guy, no bullshit, no BS with Danny Spivey. Well, he had gone to Strongbow and told Strongbow that there was this little problem festering. And Strongbow just
About Adrian.
let it fester. Yeah. Until what do you have? You almost have a killing. Someone could have died there. Danny beat that man up so bad. But Danny was not the kind of guy to do this. And he went to them. He went and told them there's this problem going on with this guy now. And you know, it's going to get worse. Let's try to fix it. Nope, they didn't want to fix it. Stromo didn't want to fix it. Somebody didn't want it fixed. But why would you want that? Why would you want your ace pitcher on the pitcher mound to get in a fight with the ball boy, and now the guy can't pitch anymore? I don't get it. In any other sport or any other form of entertainment, you would not do that to your talent. You wouldn't do it. You want to get the best out of them. I never got it. But you know what? It wasn't just WWE. It happened in the Bill Watts territories. I've heard about it. I saw it one night. I was there and saw Paul Orndorff dive across and hammer on some kid because the kid messed up in the finish, which probably the kid maybe needed to be hammered on. And Paul's a good stand-up guy, and Paul wouldn't have done it unless Paul felt he was right. Paul probably doesn't even remember jumping over and pounding that kid. But then Bill Watts come rushing in and told everybody, get back, move back, I want to see this. Now here's the promoter, he's wanting to see it. It's not like, hey, break it up, guys, come on, knock it off. We got a business to run here. Get back, I got to see this.
Bill would actually encourage. Is this true? He would encourage wrestlers to fight with fans in bars.
I never went over there. After I saw that, I never cared about going there again. I didn't even bother. It's a great place to work. I understand if you could put up with the cursing cowboy. He's mellowed out now. I met him at the WrestleMania Houston the first time. Nice guy. He's mellowed out. He's a good guy. The guys that worked for him did very well. Ted and Jake and Orndorff and Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Junkyard Dog, and the one-man gang, everyone that went down there did very, very well in that territory. And you know, they understood how to work with Bill, I guess. And I don't like to be in a locker room full of anarchy. I'm not a confrontational guy. I mean, if it comes and I can't avoid it, then it can't be avoided. But I mean, you try to avoid that nonsense at all costs because there's no place for it. Just no place for it. It's like this mess going around now that The Rock and Vin Diesel, they don't like each. That's nonsense. They buried the hatchet on all this that was going on with them, and everything's fine. You can't be in that business and travel around the world. They have to now to promote a movie and be sitting together doing interviews like we're doing, and you're wanting to beat the shit out of the guy. I mean, it just ain't going to work. Because pretty soon something's going to happen and you're going to fire off. So don't fuck with me today.
No.
I'm not in the mood for it. Bundy got me really pissed off early in this interview. So don't fuck with me today.